I'm back at Bowman Gray. Another Bowman Gray update. I'm here with Chocolate Myers. He probably knows more about Bowman Gray Stadium than anybody you'll ever meet. Chocolate, you grew up real close to here, a little bit over that way. What are your earliest memories of Bowman Gray Stadium?
Well, I remember coming here with my mom when my dad was racing here, and I remember coming. And the one thing that we were not allowed to do, right? We were not allowed to eat peanuts because that was bad luck. And if my mother saw us with a peanut, and she would say, if your daddy finds out, you're going to be in trouble. And then one of my other memories from here, and probably a Saturday night that I did not come to Bowman Gray Stadium, I stayed home. And I remember my dad coming home from the racetrack that night, and I said, "Daddy, did you get a trophy?" And he said, "Boy, you can't eat trophies," right? So it was pretty tough for those guys back then. They worked their tail off. They had regular jobs doing anything they could. And then Saturday night, they were at Bowman Gray Stadium. Now, they were probably somewhere else Thursday night and Friday night, here Saturday night, and raced somewhere else again Sunday. So those guys, they worked pretty hard to be able to do what they did.
Back in the day, Paul Harvey would say, now you know the rest of the story. Everybody kind of knows your history. You spent a long time on Sirius Radio. You spent all those years with Dale Earnhardt. But how did this place shape what you did all those years, how you grew up and became what you became?
Well, I met Richard Childress here. We both grew up close to here. Richard, I was over that way. Richard was over that way as well. And we came here because it was a place to come on Saturday night. Wasn't much else going on, right? You didn't have the malls. You didn't have anything else. So Bowman Gray Stadium was our place during the summer. And we came over and worked here. We would sell programs. We would sell peanuts or whatever to walk these grandstands and that was what got me started. And then some of the early heroes, guys. And look, I come over here, Max Barrier and Paul Radford and the list goes on and on. Perk Brown, Glenn Wood, coming over and watching those guys race. And look, one of the things that I'm really proud of, and I think, and I'd have to go back and check, but I think that I've had a personal conversation with everybody that's in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. And all of that came from here,
Yeah.
We were the Myers boys. My dad lost his life in 57. My Uncle Bill passed away here in 58. But when we were kids, when we were children, we would go to other racetracks and they knew us because of the Myers brothers race they had here. My mom, my Aunt Arlene would present the trophies. We would be here with them. And so the racing community knew us. Not because of who we are, but because of who our dads were. Yeah. So that was always special, and it still is. Look, I'm here today, not for me. I'm here today for my family, my family legacy, what my dad and my uncle did to be the Myers brothers, right?
How did this place become so special? How did it get to the point where you're dragging in 10 and 15,000 people every Saturday night to watch these guys do what they do?
Well, I think there's 2 or 3 different reasons for that. Number one, they don't rob you to get you in here. You can come in here, you can bring your family. I mean, I had people that would tell me not that many years ago, "Hey man, we carried the family to Bowman Gray Stadium. It's $25. It was ladies' night, didn't cost us very much. It's nice, it's neat, it's clean, it's convenient." But with all that being said, they still wouldn't come over here and watch cars go around in a circle, right? They come over here to see the excitement and drama that comes along with that. And look, that's the reason I love it. I don't have a problem with Tommy and Billy Bob pushing each other out of the way. I don't have a problem with somebody using the bumper to move that other guy. This is a single groove racetrack, and hopefully it stays like that forever. I'd like to see more of them like this. We go back to my time working at Richard Childress Racing with Dale Earnhardt, and Bristol was that single groove racetrack. And my gosh, you had some of the most incredible racing in the world because that's what you had to do. Maybe not what you wanted to do, but what you had to do. Some of them will, some of them will not. And I think that makes it special.
That said, what will this cup race, what will the clash be like, you think?
Well, I hope it's like a regular Saturday night at Bowman Gray Stadium. That's what I hope.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, I think the guys, and one thing that makes it special, not only is it Bowman Gray Stadium, but it's also the first time that they've done that here. I think everybody wants to win the first one, right? What will they do to do that? Will they move their best friend out of the way? Will they move the guy that they rode up here with or flew up here with. Well, I hope so. I hope they come up here and they're all mad at each other, and we get a typical night at Bowman Gray Stadium like we get and have been getting for all these years. You know, my family still races here. They do pretty darn well here. They've won a lot of races. The Myers family, my dad, my Uncle Bill, my cousins. That's a lot of wins here at Bowman Gray Stadium, and I'm pretty proud of that.
Why didn't you race?
Well, I did. I tried. To be quite honest with you, you know, back in the days that they had the claiming division here, I had one of those old claiming cars, raced it here a little bit. Certainly the demolition derby, and I got me a modified car one time. Didn't have a clue what I was doing. Didn't know anything about it. And I remember making my first lap around this place in that modified. And I was going down the backstretch as wide open as it would go. And somebody slowed down to pull into the pits. And why I didn't run over them, I don't know. But I had all of them smoking, trying to get her slowed down enough. But no, my racing career, as far as a driver, didn't last that long. I have no excuses because others have been able to make it work. I just didn't.
It's going to be interesting to see how the clash turns out. We got Tim Brown going to race in it. I talked to Burt Myers. Burt is non-committal about whether he's going to be able to be in the clash, but I have a feeling something might come along for him. I'm just going to say that. Burt knows how to get around this place. Tim knows how to get around this place. Last question is basically, how do you think those guys would fare? And there's a couple of other guys who've put out feelers about trying to get a one-off ride in it. How will they fare against the Cup guys at a track that they already know?
Well, I'll put it to you this way. When the trucks ran at Eldora, right, everybody was excited about it. And you had one of the best in the business, a dirt guy, that was going to run that race. And they were telling me how he was going to make a fool out of those guys. And I think on lap 4 is the first time they lapped him. So, look, I hope they do well. I just think that the difference between the open wheel modifieds that they run over here and these new race cars, which they've not been into, they've not been able to test, they've not been able to do anything, I think it's going to be a world of difference. Look, the guys that are really good in the Cup cars struggled with this new race car. This new race car is a handful, but it provides a level playing field and some absolute unbelievable racing. So I'm excited for them. Hope they do well, but I'm not ready to. I'll pencil them in. I'm not ready to put any ink on the paper yet.
One note about that truck race at Eldora, a dirt guy did win it, but his name was Austin Dillon, and he was in the truck and pretty fresh out of his dirt racing background back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see this. Just got a couple of weeks to go. It's going to be filled up with fans both Saturday and Sunday. That Madhouse Classic Saturday will be great. You're going to be here, and you're going to get to kind of see this excitement. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see everybody here. Chocolate,
Thank you,
for your
bro.
time.
Good to see you. Thank you. You bet.